Hi, crafty friends. You guys, I am so excited. We are going to do 5 different DIYs, and it's all around the whole black and white checked theme decor. So some of the stuff we're going to be using is from Dollar Tree. Some of it is thrifted. Some of it is actually broken stuff that I found at TJ Maxx. And I'm like, we can totally do something with this. So this is the first project. I've got these bells that I got at the Dollar Tree. And the great thing about them is they already have a checkerboard pattern on them. And we are just going to take white paint and black paint and just make that checkerboard look. We are also going to take some gold metallic paint and add that on as well, kind of over the top of the white, in between the, where the white and the black meet. And that just adds that whole high-end vibe to it as well. So I had a lot of fun painting this, but friends, do you know what I did? I stuck my hand on the back in the paint and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to clean this up? Because of course it got white paint everywhere. So what I ended up doing is I took a disinfectant wipe and on the areas where I didn't want the white paint, I fixed it and then we will paint over that with the black. So if you try this project, definitely make sure that the paint is dry before you touch it with your hand. I mean, there's a concept. Oh my goodness. But anyways, I had a lot of fun painting this and they don't have to be perfectly perfect at all, which is really great. I went ahead and left the rim because these were, you saw they were gold. And then, like I said, I took the metallic paint and just went around in some areas and kind of over the white. I really wanted to add that in. The nice thing about projects like this is, like, maybe these bells didn't come in the color in gold like these were. You could always paint the whole thing the way you want or just the trim areas however. So you can see I took the tops of these off as well. When I was doing the project, I thought it would be easier to do that. And then that stuff I'm going to actually save and maybe do another project with that or something. Who knows? That's how I am when I'm crafting. If I take something apart, I'm like, oh man, I better save these pieces because I think I can use them again. That's totally me. But anyways, check out how this project turned out. I am loving these so very much. All right, so on to project 2. And this one, I got this little cup. It's plastic from the Dollar Tree. And then you see that little silver like bottle cap looking. It's a little sign. Painted it, put those together. And we're going to do that same black and white ish kind of theme on this as well. So there's little indentions that I'm painting now. And then there's also indentions on that little plastic cup. So that's where I was like, oh wait, I can just go right in there with the black paint. Once everything dry, we're going to use that metallic gold again. And look at that cute little candle holder. So then you see the other one, and that's project number 3. That's where we're going in with a thrifted candlestick. And it's kind of almost like the texture of this is almost kind of gritty, like a stucco. But I was like, you know what? We're just going to cover everything with some chalk paint, and then we're going to go back through, and we're going to give that whole black and white vibe again, because you see so many pieces that have that black and white, but they add in that gold to it and it just kind of elevates the whole thing. So this one did require a little bit more paint. I kind of had to go back over some areas just because it's that porous material. But if you picked up some cheap dollar some cheap candlesticks when you're out thrifting or candle holders, you could totally do that. Or heck, shop your house. Maybe you have some stuff sitting around and you're like, I could totally make those over. I do that a lot. I'm like, that's really not my vibe anymore. Let's paint it up and do something different. So that's what I did with this one as well. So I loved pairing this one, which by the way, this thing is heavy, with the plastic ones that we did in the last project. And you can't even tell once you painted it all up that one was plastic and metal. And pairing it with this one, I just thought that would be a cool vibe in itself. So this is how this one turned out. I think it's super cool. And I did a lot of gold on this one. All right, so up next, oh, I forgot about this one, the plate. I love Dollar Tree when they have all their decorative plates. So I was like, all right, let's use some of their masking tape and we are just going to make that checkerboard kind of layout. And then once I got all of it laid out, I went ahead and took a Sharpie and just kind of lightly drew in the lines. That way I can just paint out that checkerboard look. And I'm going around the pattern that's on there, the lemon pattern. I don't want to cover that up. I want that to kind of look like it's popping out of that checkerboard look, which in the end, friends, it turned out so super cool. I can't wait to find more of these plates, maybe for different seasons or things like that, and add the same checkerboard look because I think it just turned out so cool. So I did accidentally draw right on top of one of the leaves in the lemon. And I was like, well, darn it, I didn't mean to do that. But I just used a disinfectant wipe and it just wiped right off. So I really just kind of willy-nilly, again, not perfect, because crafting, friends, is not perfect. If you want everything to be perfectly perfect, oh, don't stress over that. Just craft and have fun. I am not a great painter, and so my hands are super shaky, but that's okay. I still made it work. And then going over it with that gold again will really help some of those lines and just make it look the way you want. I used a thinner paintbrush on this, and that really helped as well, just to kind of get into the areas where I wanted. But that yellow and green with the black and the white, and then I was like, oh, let's use some rub and buff for the edges. And this, look at that, so much fun. Like, I love everything about this. All right, so the last project, remember I told you I got some stuff that was broken at TJ Maxx? These two flowers, they're like super heavyweight, but the underneath part of it, the flower petals were broken off. So I thought, no problem. We're going to cover all this in paint. And I really did a lot of different colors along with that black and white vibe. And then once everything's dried up, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go in with some of the metallic gold, and we're going to add to parts of it and just kind of make it our own. I thought this one would be fun, like super colorful, but also adding the black and white. And then the smaller one, we will do that one a little bit different. But I had a blast with this, and these were super cheap because they were broken on the back side. But again, you're not ever going to see that. And then I thought with this bigger one, we could even set a candle in the middle and then have that kind of like sticking out around. That would be like super fun for like an outdoor table. I mean, there's just so many things that we can do with stuff like that. So really try to think outside the box, like, this doesn't need to be hung on the wall. What can I do differently with it? And I think that would be a lot of fun. And so again, grabbed out the rub and buff. If you have not done rub and buff before, I use some of this mahogany color as well, because it comes in all different golds and silver and pewters and this ebony color. And so just have fun with it when you're doing it. I like to use the little foam brushes as well when I'm using these darker colors with this because it just goes on so nicely, because this is a textured surface that I'm putting that rub and buff on. So just have fun with it. You never know what you're going to come up with. And the great thing about paint, friends, is if it doesn't look the way you want it to, you can start over. You can paint right over it and start over again, which that to me is the fun part of crafting, is it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you don't love it, hey, paint over it again and do something completely different. I always like to say I'm the one that messes up crafts, so then I can tell you, hey, don't do it this way. So I guess I always forget to say too, hey, if you mess it up and you don't like it, just paint over it and try again. Because that's always super fun. But the smaller one, like I said, I went back to the black and the white with the gold, because for some reason I am just drawn to that like no other. And like I said, these are heavy, so I kind of used this one as a little paperweight on my desk. I just thought, oh, this is perfect for that. So with this, I used more rub and buff than I did the metallic paint, but completely up to you, however you want to do it. It's just, definitely wear gloves like I am, with the rub and buff, because it gets super duper messy and likes to stain your hands. But look how these turned out. So friends, I hope you enjoyed these projects. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.